The fun, it continues right here from the Sheraton Grand Hotel in downtown Chicago. 2024 Cubs Convention presented by Circus Sports Illinois. We keep coming at you live and direct. And last night, well, it was a fun event. Kyle Hendricks just 7 wins away from his 100th career victory. And Ryan Dempster, he goes off the mound. So right now, JD, Justin Steele, Kyle Hendricks, and Jordan Wicks, we're talking pitching on the mound. Fellas.
Thank you very much, Cole, and welcome everyone. As you can see, we're talking pitching here this afternoon. Pitch, pitch, pitch. That's all these guys do is pitch. New father, new husband. Congratulations, fellas.
Thank you.
Excited. Just a week ago, newlywed.
Thank you.
Couple months old, baby Luca.
Couple months. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
Jordan, anything new? Any milestones we need to know about?
Just happy to be here.
Nothing. Well, we're happy to be here. We're happy you're here. We're going to take your questions in a little bit, but we're going to have a little conversation with these fine gentlemen. First off, how's the offseason going? How's everything? Where are you guys at in terms of your readiness for 2024?
Yeah, it's been good. Back home in Arkansas, spending a couple months there. Head out to AZ next week, get some work in, and then shortly after that, go for spring training. So it feels like we just got home from the season. It feels like we hadn't been home very long, but it's been nice to be back.
Well, your first experience in the big leagues, too, right? The season obviously a little bit longer, so that kind of changes the offseason for you.
I know. Normally I'm home in mid-September, but then I was pitching. I had 4 more outings after that, so it was definitely an adjustment, but loved every second of it.
Yeah. Justin, how about you? How's the offseason?
Yeah, I took about 2 weeks off, went down to Boca Raton, spent a little vacation down there, went to Connecticut, saw her family, went to Mississippi, saw mine, then got right back to work for me, and then this past week got married. So it's been a good, busy offseason for me.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Kyle, I feel like one of these years I'm going to come up here to do this pitching panel, and you're not going to be here.
No,
I'm
you
going to
can't
be
get rid of me.
man.
Nope.
It's like we might be setting some kind of a record here.
No, I hope we do.
Obviously, the new baby, but your off-season highlights.
Yeah, it's been going great. Just went home to Arizona pretty much. Like you said, had the baby. Been working out, doing everything in between that, but so nice to have this facility there, hang out with the guys. And like they said, man, I can't believe it's mid-January. We're so excited for the next month to fly by and get spring training going.
Now, when you hold the baby, do you go right arm, left arm? Do you protect the pitching arm?
You equal it out.
Because in the middle of the night, right, you get up and you do the thing where they do the.
I know.
You do that airplane move where you lay
So
down.
I got some advice. Yeah, Tommy told me you can't go all left arm.
Yeah.
You'll just lock up.
Yeah.
Lock up all left. So I got to equal it out. I got advice from Steely here. Yeah. I've been trying to do what I can.
What if you came out this year and you were throwing like 95? It's like, what happened? I was holding the baby.
Exactly.
And it'd be a whole new thing.
I think that's what I needed. That's what I need in my life.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit baseball generalities. First place I want to go is pitch clock. Last year, the first year of the pitch clock. This year, it's going to 18 seconds with a man on base, so you don't get that extra 2. One, what is your reaction to the pitch clock last year, and what do you anticipate with the change in the pitch clock this year?
Yeah, it obviously was a big change, hot topic at the start of the season, and it was an adjustment. I think for spring training for a lot of our guys was the adjustment period. It did feel quick, but I would say it's in the nature of baseball players to adjust, and I would say within a month or 2 of the season, you really didn't even think about it anymore. Yeah, you were just rolling with it. So I think even 18 seconds with guys on base will be easy. Yeah.
So, Justin, how about you? Was it a tough adjustment?
Yeah, I would say I started making the good adjustments I needed to make during spring training, and then once season started, it really didn't impact me too much. I probably had like 2 throughout the entire season where something happened, but you kind of get used to it and not even pay attention to it. But I feel like you start to get used to it and you learn how to use it sometimes. Like you'll see it ticking down. The hitter's already used a timeout or something, and you can kind of use it to your advantage and play with it a little bit.
Yeah, I wish you guys had like a timeout to use. I mean, I know you can step off, but like one freebie, right? And just a panic where you can I just need to reset the clock, reset my mind. But I think it's been good for the game. And Jordan, of course, you did it in the minor leagues, so you had a little more time to adjust to it.
Yeah, I felt like a little bit more comfortable with it just because, we had done it the whole year in 22, and then we did it in 23 leading up to it. So I felt like I was pretty prepared, and, I kind of picked up on some of the stuff they were trying to do. They were trying to speed me up. I know in Pittsburgh in my debut, they'd get in the box and they'd stare at home plate until it would get down to 9 seconds, trying to get me to come set early and get an extra ball. And, you can kind of see them doing it, but, people had started doing that in the minors, so I was comfortable just sitting there and waiting them out.
So let's talk a little bit about that debut with the Pirates. It didn't start well.
That would be an understatement.
But then you went off. And you punched out 9 and shut him down completely after that rocky start.
Yeah, Tommy Hotovy slipped me a 20 to mention his mound visit up here on stage. And, but yeah, he came out there and obviously settled me down, and it was smooth sailing from there on out. It was definitely an interesting debut. Didn't start off well like you said, but it ended pretty well. So.
What do you remember, aside from just the numbers of the performance, about how you were feeling, what your thoughts were, and take us through that making your major league debut?
Yeah, it was a lot going on. I was just trying to stay as focused as I can. I remember the people always ask me, when he hit the home run to start the game, what was the thought in your head? And to be honest, I was sitting there on the mound going, well, it's only up from here. It just gets better from here. So that was kind of my thought, and I just kept going. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I tried to enjoy like the atmosphere, and it was a packed house that night because they had like the Hall of Fame and everything going on, and so there was like
pretty
packed
rare
house,
packed
really cool crowd. Loved the stadium was really nice too. I enjoyed PNC.
Yeah. So let's stay on that topic. What do you guys remember about your debuts? We'll start with you, Justin.
I really don't remember a whole lot. I just remember I was just trying to throw strikes, get in and out, just do my job. I know I was in Milwaukee facing the Brewers, but I don't remember who I was facing.
Right, because your mind just kind of goes,
I was just
right?
like, I just need to get this guy out, just get out of here. But it was really special. Something I'll definitely never forget. I remember it was a whirlwind because I came up from the alternate site, and it was such a weird thing with COVID and all that stuff going on. It was the following year, so it was just good to get it done. And then the following year to be able to pitch in front of fans for the first time, it was a really special moment too.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? There'll be a time in the future when players will refer to the alternate site, and we'll be like, what are you talking about? That was such a bizarre time. Kyle, what do you remember about your debut?
Yeah, definitely same emotions like they're saying. Just a whirlwind experience, out of body, but you really think about your family, and everybody that got you to that point. So it's such a, fulfilling moment. Mine was in Cincinnati on the road, and we went to extras, and it was the game when Rizzo charged the dugout at Chapman.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll never forget that, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Riz took on
Did you follow him over there? Were you right behind him over there?
I was right behind him. First one out. Yep, first one out of the dugout.
Yeah. You're going to do that. What do they do in the NFL where they push the guy?
I was pushing somebody in front of me. You go get him.
What about what was the kind of the welcome to the big leagues moment, like the guy you faced that was like, oof, this is big stuff?
Mine had to come maybe in spring training game. I faced the Angels, and I faced Trout and Pujols back-to-back that next spring training. And so that was definitely the moment for me.
I think one of the cool moments for me was facing Albert Pujols for the first time, just because growing up, I mean, he was the man, just hit homers all the time. And, he was on the tail on his way out and stuff, but just sitting there looking at him, facing him, it was like, wow, like I'd already been in the big leagues for a little bit at that point, but at that moment I was like, wow, like I'm facing Albert Pujols right now. This is pretty surreal.
What did you do?
I struck him out.
Punched him out? Go home in the offseason and tell your boys. Yeah. He's in my book. Yeah, I got him. I got Fat Albert. How about you, Jordan? Was there a welcome to the big leagues guy or a moment?
Yeah, I think mine was, in that debut facing McCutchen in the 3-hole. After the first two guys reach, and he gets up there, and you're sitting there, and you're like, man, I played with this guy in MLB The Show when I was 13 years old. I played with him all the time. But I'm thankful no one mentioned to me before I went out there that he was on like home run number 299 or 399 or something like that. I didn't want to have that in the back of my head.
You didn't want to be the guy that gave up the big fat round number.
Yeah.
Kyle, I noticed on our way up here, there's an autograph on the back of your jersey. Is that you?
It's me, because I think I've had this jersey for the last 4 or 5 years. They told me when I left a few years ago to sign it, and they were going to give it to somebody. And apparently nobody wanted it.
That's amazing. There's probably some candidates out here.
Maybe I can get rid of it today.
Yeah. So we got a new skipper in town, Craig Counsell. First impressions?
Yeah, amazing. Had a conversation with him a few months ago when we hired him, but then met him here first time at the convention, and just listening to him talk up here the last hour just seems like such a chill, relaxed, laid back. Played in the big leagues for so long. I think he's going to be amazing for our club. We're so excited to have him.
Yeah, same thing. Soon after he got hired, he called me, introduced himself. We had a great conversation, and then coming here and meeting him in person. He actually came out to Arizona. I was able to meet him in person a little bit there too as well. Just great conversations. I'm just really looking forward to working with him. And, guys like that, you always just kind of admire and, you just admire what they do from afar, because you just respect them as a manager and everything.
So, Jordan, you have a chance to chat with Craig yet?
Yeah, I got to meet him here for the first time and talk to him, and just seems like a super even keel individual. Seems super calm, super wise, and like Justin said, just so much respect for what he's accomplished in the game, both as a player and now as a manager. And so I'm just really excited to be able to pick his brain and kind of see baseball through his eyes.
Yeah, obviously has a great resume. He's done a lot of great things in the game already. It's going to be very exciting to see what he does here. Do you anticipate any changes in terms of how the game is managed or played?
Yeah, maybe little things here and there. Everybody has their own stamp, the way they manage the games. But for us, it's kind of we're more interested maybe showing up to spring training and seeing how the teams run. Everybody always has their maybe little rules or things they like to do, just how the teams run, and we're just excited to see what the atmosphere and the culture is going to be like.
Yeah. I always thought the biggest issue was like, what's the dress code going to be on the airplane, man? That's a big issue. We got to iron that out.
It's a topic every year.
Yeah. Obviously David Ross moving on. We can't forget about Rossi. He did a heck of a job here. I mean, not an easy move to move away from David Ross. So I want to make sure we give him a little love as well. You guys get a chance to reach out to Rossi?
Yeah, I reached out to him right when it happened. Obviously there's both sides of that coin. Having Craig is amazing, but you lose Rossi on the other side of it. And we all know Rossi here, the amazing player, teammate, coach, everything that he was, leader. So such a good friend of mine, and yeah, it was unexpected, but he's such a pro, took it like a man, and it's all going to end up for the best for him and for the Cubs in the long run, so that's all that matters.
Oh, good. It's good to know.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what he was saying, you kind of start to build a relationship with the person, the human. He was able to make it to my wedding. That meant a lot, with everything he has going on and stuff. You just respect him, and, he took it on the chin, and like he said, it's going to work out for the better for him, and he's just a great person, and, But, looking forward to having Craig here, working with him and stuff. But you also got like you said, there's the other side of the coin as well.
So we got microphone here, and I see people are starting to line up. We're going to take some questions from the crowd. We have one over here. There's one over here to the right as well. So if you have any questions for these guys, let's queue up, and we'll integrate that into our conversation here this afternoon. NL Central. What do you see in terms of the moves that have been made? What team might be maybe better than people anticipate? Where do you see the Cubs' position in the NL Central on this date?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun division again. I think it is every year. The competition is so tight. We saw last year Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, how they're coming up. I think they're going to keep getting better. Milwaukee has always been so tough for us to play, but getting Craig, hopefully that'll help us out with them, And then St. Louis is always a thorn, and they're signing pitchers now. They're kind of start to come back. So, yeah, we know it's going to be really tough, the competition, but that's what we look forward to. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. It's always a fun division to pitch inside of and stuff. Facing the Cardinals, I think I faced them 4 times last year. It's always fun, especially Wilson on the other side. It's always fun facing him. And then, facing the Brewers, it's always fun pitching against the likes of those guys in that pitching staff. They're so good over there. And then, the up-and-coming Reds and Pirates with their young, fun-to-watch players. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Jordan, a lot of times young players, when they first get to the big leagues, you just focus on trying to establish yourself here, right, on this club. How much do you pay attention to what the other clubs have done this winter and what the division might look like? Is it even kind of on your radar?
Yeah, I mean, I've paid attention to quite a bit of, the free agency stuff that goes on. I was always, locked into that stuff, especially as a kid, watching MLB Network and stuff like that. So I find a real interest in that. I think it's going to be an extremely competitive division. I really do. You've got an interesting mix of, teams like the Reds that are super young that have also been adding veteran pieces. And then you've got, a team like St. Louis that's got a lot of those veteran guys that could, they could bounce back like that. And so, like Kyle said, Milwaukee's always been tough. So I think it's going to be a really, really interesting Central, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be a very competitive division this year. Should be a lot of fun. Let's start out with some questions now. We're going to start over here. Go ahead.
What is the most famous hitter that you faced, and what was it like playing with Cody Bellinger?
Cody Bellinger's name has come up frequently this weekend.
I like how you threw that last part in there. Start it.
Yeah, for me, it had to be McCutchen, Andrew McCutchen in the debut is who I faced. Like I said, it was awesome to face him. Cody was a lot of fun. I enjoyed having him. He was a couple lockers down from me. Getting to talk to him, be around him. He's an awesome guy to have in the clubhouse. I know we all enjoyed playing with him.
Yeah, for me, it's probably facing Albert Pujols a few times, and then same thing. Cody's just a great teammate, great clubhouse guy. Shows up every day, works his tail off, and has a smile on his face while he's doing it. It's just somebody you want on your team.
Who's the guy? I know you and Votto.
You know my guy.
You and Votto had some epic.
You know my guy. Votto kills me. So I hope he's only got a few years left. I don't know. But other than that, the moment would be the Trout Pujols when I face them. But Votto is always the one where that's the most fun at bat for me, really, because it's such a challenge.
Yeah.
He gets me more times than not.
Yeah. It's always fun to watch because you're, a thinking man's pitcher. He's obviously a very cerebral hitter, and you're just trying to get inside the heads as you go toe to toe. Over here, please.
Justin, this is a question for you. Who in the marketing department did you upset with the photo that's behind you?
I don't know.
Oh, that's pure intensity, man.
There's no way I'm pitching right there. That's got to be me fielding a ball and panicking to get the ball to first base. But yeah, we got to get a better picture.
Okay, over here.
My question's for the professor. During the World Series, you had the start, and I believe they pulled you too quick. What's your belief? Truthfully.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But I think it happened exactly how it was supposed to happen, right? Just winning, that's it.
With the rain delay.
That's right.
Well, that's interesting because a common theme here today, as I've watched some of these panels, first with Jed and Carter and then with Craig, there's a woman named Marcia who's been... It's like, Marcia. She's been very intense asking about why we keep pulling pitchers when they're pitching well, the quick hook.
I like this.
Yeah,
I like this lady.
Yeah, Marcia could be an agent for pitchers. Yeah, so where do you guys stand? So we know about third time through, we know about pitch count, and we know what the numbers say. So is this a situation where you guys are like, we get it, or is it you're still pushing back?
It goes both ways. I think it depends how well your coaches know you and your managers, because going out there, you have different stuff kind of every time. So the better they know you, you may go out there and one day, 2 times through the order, and that's all you got. That's what it looks like for that day. But then to be able to realize a day you do go out there and you can get through the third time, it can save the bullpen. It can help you through the long season. So I think you have to be able to adjust no matter what, back and forth.
Yeah, I think he hit the nail on the head right there. It definitely takes the coaches knowing who you are, knowing what you have that day, paying attention to your bullpen that day, what's going on throughout the game and stuff. And, there's just numbers that say through third time through the order, it usually starts turning the other way. Yeah. But that's kind of where knowing the player, knowing who he is really plays a role, because if you saw him locked in that day, bullpen was locked, he's breezing through the order, that's when you kind of let him go back out and, keep competing.
Yeah. Jordan?
Yeah, I've only been up for a month. I'm just happy to go however long they let me go,
I had this happen to me one time. I was pitching, and had a pretty good game going. But I got into some trouble in the 6th or 7th inning, and I kept looking over and go, why aren't I coming out? Because this is not going to end well. Have you ever had that feeling?
Like the good ones when you don't really have it, and you're looking over there.
Yeah.
You're just trying to make something up to get somebody.
You're trying to send that little beam over to the dugout, like you might want to come and get me. Over here, please.
What inspired you to become a pro baseball player?
Inspiration. Origin stories in the game.
Yeah, for me it was, growing up, I was a baseball fan growing up, and my dad, we used to wake up every Sunday morning and watch the Braves on TBS when they used to wear their Sunday Reds. And I was a huge Chipper Jones fan. Loved watching Chipper Jones play, just the energy he brought to the park. And I used to always find these guys as I went that I loved watching play or pitch or do whatever, and from Chipper Jones. And then when I got more into high school, it became more of like a John Lester, Cole Hamels type of guy. I loved watching them. And so, just kind of that, how great it felt to be at the field every day was big for me.
Yeah, for me, I remember pretty vividly being in kindergarten, and everybody was drawing what they wanted to be when they grew up, and I drew a baseball player, and I've always I really didn't have a backup plan either. It was like, I'm going to do this, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to have to figure something out. But, it's been, ever since I was probably 4 years old. I was going around watching my brother play baseball all the time. He was 5 years older than me, so I grew up loving the game and stuff. Same with him. My dad was always watching the Braves, so I was always following Tom Glavine and those guys.
Yeah, very similar. Growing up, I just loved being out on the field. Could be out there all day long with my dad, taking ground balls, fly balls, hitting, whatever it is. And I just always loved the game, and it never left. My parents were able to see that and just let me go and play as long as I could. So, yeah, as long as you love it, man, that's number one for sure.
Thanks for the question. Over here, please.
I was wondering, what's your favorite moment as a Cub?
My favorite moment was 2016. Yep, winning the World Series. Easy.
Mine was probably this past season in the midst of us making a good playoff push in my outing against the Giants.
Well, how about an All-Star game appearance, too? How about the All-Star game?
Oh, yeah, the All-Star game's up there,
That's pretty
too.
cool.
The All-Star game's up there, too.
I think one of my favorites was in Pittsburgh after the game. Just being on the field with my family, celebrating with them. Tommy ran out to the field to come get me, and say they need you in the clubhouse, and just going in there and getting a little water shower from the players in there after the game was a lot of fun. Got the lineup card from Rossi, so just to celebrate them with all the teammates and just have them support me like that was one of the coolest moments I've had.
Thank you.
Hey guys, backstory. I pitched about 3 whole times in Little League, and the thing I remember is being terrified. So my question for you guys is, how do you deal with the mental aspect of pitching, and how do your approaches differ from other pitchers, perhaps?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think every guy has their own way of going about it, and I think I've probably felt the same way as you when I was hitting. So that's why I kept with pitching, man. I was terrified in the box. But yeah, I think that's where I felt comfortable. And the more experience, the more practice you get all these cues you learn from so many guys, and it's just being able to breathe. Yeah, control your breathing and staying in the moment really is all it comes down to.
Yeah, I was kind of the kid that was like, they had to tell to back off. I was kind of at a very young age, I was trying to hit the ball as far as I could. I was swinging as hard as I could. I was trying to throw it by people. So I was kind of the other way. They kind of had to be like, all right, you need a little more technique with what you're doing. You're just out here slinging things around. So I had to dial it back in a sense.
Yeah, for me, it's just kind of like that. You almost have to develop an alter ego when it's your day to pitch. You kind of have to, for me, it's, getting into that zone where, if you ask people I've played with, to this day, I'm a very different, and a lot of us are very different people on the days we pitch as opposed to the other 4 days we're at the field. So, for me, it's just finding that comfort in that sort of alternate personality and, being a little bit more, intense that day for me. And, that's kind of how I go about it.
Talking about the mental approach, game day, any superstitious rituals or just more of following a routine? Anything that would,
My answer's short. I really don't do anything. I don't listen to music. I talk to everybody. Treat it as a normal day.
Yeah.
I'm a little different in that aspect.
No, I can back that up. Steely is the same guy all the time.
Yeah,
he never changes.
Seems to work.
Yeah, I would say for me, I had maybe more superstitions when I was young, and then they kind of faded.
Yeah.
So now it is more routine, and every day is so different. You just see what you need that day.
Yeah. Jordan?
French toast.
French toast?
French toast.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my thing. I started it midway through the year last year because I'm a guy, I don't really like to eat a whole lot the day I pitch because I just don't like, having that in my stomach. So I started eating French toast, started stringing some outings together, and I was like, well, here we go. We're just going to roll from here. So kept doing it.
So all you kids, whoever's preparing the meals at home, French toast. It's worth a shot.
We do have gumbo in the locker room the day after I pitch.
Oh,
the day after you pitch.
Whose gumbo is it?
Bo's gumbo.
Bo's gumbo is what it says in the kitchen.
I
Bo's
love
gumbo.
But you grew your hair out this year, yeah?
Do what?
Your hair.
Yeah, I just got married, and she made me.
Yeah. So
trust me, it's gonna get back to looking scruffy here soon.
So not getting.
I'm not a haircut guy. I don't like haircuts. It's gonna.
But that wasn't a superstitious thing. That was, I'm going good. I'm just gonna let it go.
I just don't like it.
You just don't like. Yeah. Nor I. Although I would love to have the option. Are we right or left? Left, over here. Here we go.
What's your favorite pitching movie?
Pitching movie?
Pitching movie.
Trouble
All right,
with
give us some candidates. Give us some multiple
Trouble
choice.
with the curve.
That's a good one. Rookie of the year. Yeah.
There we go.
I'm a big Moneyball guy. Like Moneyball a lot. Yeah. I also like the rookie, but like the Cubs one, and then also what's the other one with the teacher in Texas that becomes.
Oh, I know what you're
I know what you're talking about.
Little.
He was.
Oh, Jim Morris. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. Well, PCA's mom was in the movie.
Yeah.
In the
Big
Twins. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I tell more people that than he does.
Yeah.
Every time I'm around him, I tell him, "Hey, you seen that movie? That's his mom."
Yeah, little Big League. Was that what it? Yeah. All right. You got another one over here, please? I know I'm changing the routine. We're staying left. I've been informed I need to stay left.
Okay, the autograph lines are really long downstairs, so I just want you to know, Jordan Wicks, Conway, Arkansas, in the house. We're very proud of you at home.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
And so, McCall Dale, he's my mentor student under me.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just wanted you to know that. We're proud of you. And Kyle, you've answered my question because it was going to be, do you smile ever? And we see you smiling. So I will go ahead and adjust here. But I see a lot of kids in the crowd, and I'm proud of baseball for still having really good mentors for these kids. So can you think about going back to maybe your high school seasons and some advice from then that you would give to some of these future major leaguers in the crowd?
Yeah, some of the best advice I got was just be yourself. I think at that age, you're so impressionable. There's so many other players, maybe better players that you're looking at that I need to do this or I need to do that. I think, no, just trust in who you are as a person and make the best form or version of yourself as you can. And as long as you love the game, everything will work out for the best.
My high school coach was also a preacher, so he was somewhat of a philosopher as well. So he always told me and everybody on the team, you go your whole life, and you only spend about this much time actually on the baseball field having fun with your friends. So with that little bit of time, make sure you always enjoy it. So that's something I always remember.
Yeah, my thing would be always just keep it fun, especially for kids. Like, I know some of the best moments I had playing baseball was with my friends I've grown up with on the high school team. And I always feel like you put more into stuff when you enjoy doing it, have fun doing it. And so, don't put too much pressure on yourselves. Just go out there and enjoy it.
How much value do you guys place in having played other sports growing up?
I think a lot. Yeah, I grew up playing pretty much everything, even though I wasn't good at everything. You went and had fun and you're playing with your friends. That's part of being a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of basketball growing up, and I think that helped me out a ton as far as just developing and getting athletic and whatnot.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that helped me in my career was playing football my senior year of high school, going back and playing football, because you get in the weight room and it helps you get acclimated to that before, going off to college and stuff. And it's just that balance. Plus, you give your arm a break, which is huge. I feel like a lot of kids these days throw year-round, and I couldn't even imagine that back when I was a kid.
You were a kicker, right?
I was all conference, but
Yeah. What was the longest field goal you made?
It was 42 as time expired to send it to overtime. But
that's amazing. Yeah. And you throw a football pregame, yeah?
Yeah. Yep, throw a pregame. I've always enjoyed it. I started doing it in college. I felt like it's a way to throw weighted balls without actually throwing the specific plyo balls. I'm not a huge weighted ball guy. I do a little bit of it, but I don't know. It's fun throwing a football.
Yeah. Do you do anything?
Yeah, I sling the football around. I like throwing the football. It's fun.
Kyle, do you go out there and hit wedges?
I stick with the baseball now. Yeah, if anything, a wedge.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle's got a strange way of warming up. He's chipping out there in the bullpen. Yes, sir.
All right. Question for all three of you. Mound visits. What is the most unique or somewhat comical? The game's on the line. You're feeling a little tense. They come out. They're just trying to settle you down. What's one of the more unique or comical stories that you can share, obviously, with young kids being in the audience as well? But
I got to throw to Miguel Montero for a little while, and he's a character, man. So there were some big moments where he would just come out there and in his accent and speaking so fast, you know, and I couldn't even really understand what he was saying. I'm wide-eyed like this, and then he run back to the plate, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll go get this guy.
He's out there to try to calm you down.
Oh, yeah.
Anything but.
And it worked, yeah. It distracted me enough.
I really haven't had anything too crazy. Something that comes to mind is like if I've given up like 4 or 5 singles consecutively or something, and I'm probably pretty fired up about it, and Tommy will just come out, and I know he's not wanting to. He knows I'm mad about it. Everybody's upset about it, and he'll just come out, hey, I just wanted to give you a little breather. You know, calm down. Everything's okay. And I usually just don't say anything. I'm just fuming. Just want to get the next guy out. But, yeah, that's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, I've had, and I told Tommy this yesterday too, is like one of them, he comes out and pretty sure it was like bases loaded, like 1 out or something like that. And Tommy comes out and he stops in front of me and he stands there and he starts smiling. And I'm trying to figure out what's so funny about this situation, because to me, it's not funny at all. And so, yeah, he said he loves doing that, because then I start smiling and I'm like, all right, this is, yeah.
Just take the heat back a little bit. How's Jan? How's Gomes? What's his demeanor like?
Jan, oh, he's so calm, man. Jan's the best. And throwing him back there is amazing. Yeah, he comes out there, a little conversation. It's usually business. He might have something to crack you up or really loosen you up, but it's going to be, what are we attacking this next guy with? Calm down. You got everything you need. Go get him.
Yeah, he does a great job of in between innings, like coming and talking to you, like giving you his feedback on the hitters, your pitches, and then kind of going over what he wants to do the next inning. And he's just a sponge, man. Like, it felt like he just figured me out so quickly and was able to, learn what made me tick and stuff so immediately.
Yeah. Do you have much experience with Jan, Jordan?
Yeah, I threw to him a couple times. One of the biggest things I appreciated with Jan is, whenever I would throw to Miguel the first couple outings, he was in every meeting there, talking to us about hitters, saying, hey, don't try and do this and this, or, helping. And it was awesome because, he doesn't have to do that kind of stuff, but that just says a lot about the person, the player, and the teammate that he is.
Yeah. I had Jamie Quirk come to the mound once when I was pitching in the spring training game, and he came out there and he said, hey, you're better than that. And I want to say, no, not really. You're grading my paper way too high. That's all I got. Yes.
This question's for all 3 of you. Who's your favorite teammate and why?
Favorite teammate and why? Whoa, feet to the fire, boys.
Making us pick favorites, man. That's hard. I love all my teammates. I mean, I love Adbert. I love Adbert Alzolay.
I'm glad you said that, because now I can pivot and go somewhere else. Yeah. Adbert is one of my best friends. Probably a teammate that left like a lasting impact on me was Wade Miley. And he was just one of them guys. Like, every single day, he was one of the first ones to show up. And it wasn't even to, like, be in the weight room or anything. He just wanted to be around us. He wanted to hang out with us, wanted to watch our bullpens, wanted to make everyone around him better. Yeah, I mean, he was just a great teammate.
Kyle Hendricks, of course. I mean, Yeah. No, we've got a great group of guys, and I think, I probably followed Kyle around for the first 3 weeks, just asking him questions. And, I think I told him like 6 times, hey, if I'm bugging you, just tell me to get out of here and I'll leave. Like,
never. I love it.
That's great. Here we go.
Hi, guys. I want to thank you for the highs and the heart attacks that you give all of us Cubs fans on a hopefully not a daily basis moving forward. But this question specifically for Jordan. How do you feel the Frontier League handled your transition to the majors from Rockford? So know your backstory. And I don't know if your teammates know about your TV commercial. And if they don't, just look it up, guys, because Xavius is my guy, too.
We need some intel here.
Do we have new ammunition for the locker room?
I hope nobody finds this video.
in trouble.
But yeah, I played in Rockford in the COVID summer. I was supposed to go up to the Cape that summer after college, and the Cape got shut down. So I went to Rockford and played for a summer. Had a lot of fun. It was a really talented league that year because it was basically everyone from the Cape that couldn't go there went to the Northwest League and played with Rockford. Had a lot of fun. And yeah, it was honestly one of the most impactful summers of my career because it's kind of where I kind of blossomed and came into my own as a pitcher and really started to figure some stuff out. And I know I'm going to get this question later. I am in a Xavier's Jewelers commercial, me and my wife. So we got brought back there. We knew some people, and they wanted to do one. And so, yeah, we're in one of those. So I'm sure that won't get played in the locker room at all this season.
Do you remember your line? Do you remember what you had to say?
I had a few lines. I just remember I had to do all the talking because my wife was too nervous because she didn't know. She doesn't, do this stuff normally, so.
I want to see this. Yes, sir.
Kyle, I feel bad for you that you can't get rid of that jersey. I got this old thing that I'm willing to trade out if you're, looking.
Done deal. Done deal.
But besides that, I want to know, as you're a starting pitcher, you're starting the game, you look behind you, how much does it change your mindset or your confidence when you have great defense, like, I don't know, Cody Bellinger standing behind you?
Yeah.
Just to pick a name out of midair.
Random name.
Just to pick a random guy,
Yeah, Belly, Nico, Dansby, throw them in there too. But no, it makes a huge difference. I think any pitcher will attest to that. When you have guys like that behind you, man, it changes the way you game plan, honestly, and how you attack a hitter. You pitch to contact so much better. It keeps your pitch count down. You get better outs. You're getting more outs because they're getting them behind you. It keeps your pitch count down. There's literally the number of positives is it doesn't end. So those guys were the core and the key of our team, and they're going to be so huge for us moving forward.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If knowing them guys are playing behind me, I'm kind of like, please hit the ball. Like, unless you hit it over the fence, I feel like we're going to get it. So it feels good being on the mound and having that kind of confidence in the guys behind you. It's just a comforting feeling.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest things for me was being up in the show and talking to people back home and going, you're throwing a lot more sinkers than you ever threw in the minors. I was just telling them, you see who's behind me? We got 2 Gold Glovers up the middle and 1 in center and in left. And so I was like, I feel like I'd be stupid not to. So yeah, it changes a lot of what you do as a pitcher.
It's one of the neat things you find when you go from the minor leagues to the big leagues, the plays that get made behind you. Not like minor league guys can't make plays, but just the regularity with which these guys make plays is pretty amazing.
It is amazing. Getting to watch Dansby every day out there, that was one of the most special treats ever. Just how easy he makes it looks, and he makes every single play.
Yeah. Over here.
A question for my boy Kyle, as I refer to you. Thanks for 2016. And what was it like that year to have work with a veteran catcher like David Ross and a rookie, Wilson Contreras?
Yeah, that was a crazy dynamic and 2 very different personalities, But getting to throw to both of them, you saw the success that came from it. I think it shows a lot to who both of those guys are. We obviously know Rossi, the pro that he is, how much baseball he knows. And same with Wilson, man. Wilson is just a ball player at the end of the day. And so he came right in, took everything Rossi had for him, learned it, and ran with it. So, no, those are 2 of the best guys. I've been so lucky for the guys I've gotten to throw to at this organization. Catchers we've had have all been so good. So those are 2 of my favorites.
How was the Wilson Contreras mound visit?
That was definitely unique, too. Intense.
Yeah.
Intense. Yeah. If you didn't do it right, you were scared.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
This one's for Justin Steele. How long have you pitched in the season?
How long have I pitched in a season? This past season would have been the most starts I've made and the most innings I've logged, which was 30 starts, 173 innings.
Did you feel any differently this offseason?
No, I felt like I was getting stronger, honestly. Like, I felt like as the season was getting longer, I felt like I was starting to throw harder. My body was feeling good. Yeah, I want to do that again this year. It was a lot of fun.
It's we talked about third time through and individual games and how pitchers are used, but how about the way that you just from game to game over the course of the season monitoring pitch loads and innings? That's become obviously a lot more scientific. Where are you at in terms of buy into that, or you think there's more there?
I think definitely there's something to it. It's huge, and I've seen it with the injury that I had. Now monitoring your workload, like in your bullpens, just keeping those down when you are going good. You don't need all the reps, Keep the volume low so then maybe when you are struggling on something, you can put some extra work in on that.
Yeah, it's one of them things, like throwing 150-plus, 160-plus innings in a year. It's kind of like you don't know you can do it until you start doing it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of starts happening, and you're like, oh, this is very feasible. I can definitely do this. And then you kind of just want to replicate that.
Jordan, we talked earlier about your first time in the big leagues, pitching through September. Where are you at in terms of what you anticipate you'll be able to do innings-wise this year?
Yeah, I'm ready for whatever they have in store for me. You know, I don't like to go into any season saying, you know, oh, I only think I should do this, I only think I should do that. You know, I'm ready for however much, you know, they want me to handle. And I got a really good view of watching these guys, you know, and how they approached handling that inning workload. Learned a lot from watching them, whether, you know, it was their weight room routine, the stuff they did in between starts, you know, all that sort of stuff I kind of took note of as I was up there, because I knew, you know, that this upcoming season could be the most innings that I've ever thrown, you know, and hopefully will be. And so a lot of my stuff this offseason was doing different stuff like sauna, cryotherapy, stuff like that, and seeing how my body feels after it and responding and being able to take that into next season.
Sure. Good. Yes.
Hey, first for Jordan, I just want to say your first game last season, I got to say it was a highlight for my kids. It was just great to see after the game how excited you were. Only up for a month, but it was fantastic. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to ask, well, I want to ask Kyle, you know, you're kind of the last man standing with Rossi no longer here. What similarities do you see this year compared to 2016? Do you see a John Lester sitting next to you?
Absolutely, man. That is the next coming of John Lester. And another one sitting right next to him, man. I see a lot of similarities, to be honest with you. It's a great question. I think the team camaraderie and the friendships, the relationships we have all together, we're so close. And the depth that we have, the pitching depth, the defense. That's how we won that year. You know, we had the best defense in the league, and we pitched. And that's how you win baseball games. So I think I have a really good feeling about this year.
Say one more.
We have, little man has a question.
In 2016, what was your expression when you won the World Series?
What was your expression when you won the World Series?
You know how it always is.
Hey, good work. Okay, yes.
What is your favorite game that you have ever played? And Justin, this ball is from your career high strikeout game against the Giants.
Yeah. That was probably my favorite game. Probably my favorite game right there. Yeah, you got the ball.
My favorite, any of the playoff games, you know, those years, the Dodger game or obviously Game 7.
Yeah.
Mine's a tough one. You know, it's easy to say the debut in PNC, but I think my Wrigley debut was honestly better, because one of the coolest moments of my career so far was coming off of that mound and you know, getting a standing O from the home crowd there. It was, you know, it's one of the best moments I've had so far. So it gave me chills.
Kyle, I would imagine for you, you know, obviously not on par with the postseason games, but just getting back post-injury to get back on the mound. Was there ever a point where you were worried that you might not get all the way back?
No, that was the most emotional game for me, for sure. When the first game coming back into Wrigley Field, seeing the fans, just being back out there, you know, you take things for granted sometimes when it's just there in front of you. So, no, having a full year away, that was definitely the most emotional game I've pitched in. Just being back with the fans was just amazing.
Yeah. Well, with that, we've got to call it a wrap, guys. Thank you so much, fellas. Jordan, Justin, and Kyle.
Thank y'all.
Let's give it up, and let's throw it back to Cole.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, JD and the fellas. And that was a magnificent meeting of the minds. And speaking of magnificent, let's welcome in the dear, Bobby Denier. Bobby, thanks so much for stopping by. 1984 Gold Glove Award winner. That was 40 years ago. How much does that award still mean to you to this day?
It's my kid's favorite draft pick, and we were just talking. It's probably the greatest blessing and an honor I ever, you know, individually, that I was being the first outfielder in Cubs history makes me a real archive. And joining Andre Dawson, Jason Hayward, who I think was probably the best I watched, along with Gary Maddox, and of course Ian Happ, who joined the crew. So.
Absolutely. Now, you've been to each and every single one of the Cubs conventions except for one. How have things changed since the very first one back in 1986?
Well, John McDonough started it, our club in '84, you know, sort of jumped things, and he thought, how can I interact, you know, the guys with the fans? And so this was created, and I tell guys all the time, you don't have to do this, you get to, if you want to, and most of us do.
When you talk to some of the younger guys, do you really let them know past that just how important it is just seizing the moment, because in the blink of an eye, that career could be over?
Yeah, and 40 years ago, we looked back on the 45 team, which was 39 years, ago, and it seemed like, wow, World War II, that's a long time ago. Well, now we're a long time ago. So it's part of the Cub lore, and the great blessing is that relationship between the fans and us and the current players, and it's generational.
Yeah. The 1984 panel is going to be taking center stage in just a little bit, but what's it like when you can rekindle that flame with guys like Rick Sutcliffe, Sarge Matthews, Jody Davis, the list goes on?
Some of my very best friends on the planet. And Sut and I go back. We played against each other in high school. So I know the redhead from the get-go. And Sarge is one of my very closest friends, along with Jody as well. And we stay in touch. The fans, I'm sure, would enjoy that fact that we are still great friends.
How did the high school battles go with you and the redhead?
I lost. He got me in '74 as a young junior in high school. He was a senior, about to be a #1 pick. But I got him back 15 years later at Wrigley opening day. I was back with